Before you watch this video, I highly suggest you watch the intro video for the series and also the video which covers step 1, which is script writing. Now, we go on to step 2. Step 2 is making images, thumbnails, and other forms of media that we might need. And as promised, no computer is needed. Today I'll cover how I make thumbnails, clean up photos, modify images, and also how you can turn it into an efficient process. So for me, I really only need to make one image, and that's the thumbnail. That's all I gotta do. However, you can make as many images as you please. So I'll show you guys how to make YouTube thumbnails like I do and how I can get them to perfectly fit the thumbnail dimension size for YouTube, which is 1280 by 720. So for this, you will need a mobile device, and then you will need to get the Adobe Spark Post app. This is the app I use to make all of my thumbnails. Also, I highly recommend you get an app that allows you to erase the background of some images. I also use the Adobe Photoshop Fix and Photoshop Mix app to erase critical information and to modify photos if I need to in a pinch. I use my Apple Pencil to take care of the fine details, but that's optional, and also it's expensive. We're going to cover the most important step first, which is producing thumbnails. Then I'll show you guys how to modify images, erase details to simplify your thumbnail making process, and more and all the fun stuff later. So now let's get to making a thumbnail. So, making a thumbnail. So first you're going to need a background photo. Let's go ahead and close out of this real quickly. Let's go ahead and open up the Adobe Spark Post app. So first you're going to need a background photo. The Adobe Spark Post app, lets you search for free photos. We can just go over here and search whatever term we want, and it'll give you whatever you want to find. It's really nice. But if you want to go the extra mile, you can even pay for images if you want with an Adobe Stock license. Let me show you guys what that is. Go to Adobe Stock, and you can find photos here, and go to license photos. I don't use it, so I don't know much about it. But basically, you buy an Adobe Stock license, you get the stock images from whatever the Adobe Stock has, I guess, and you use those. But I don't really use it. I'm doing just fine without it. So, you know, it's just if you want to go the extra mile. So you can use that, search for free photos, go through the Adobe Stock thing. But if you still can't find the results you want, head over to an online website. Go over here, say you want to go to pexels.com. All right, so you can go over here, search for photos or whatever. It's a really great source. I go there from time to time. So pexels.com, pixabay.com is another place I can that I would recommend. That those are some websites you want to head to if you still can't find the images you want. Your last resort option, besides actually getting a DSLR camera and shooting the photo yourself, is to go to your mobile browser. So let's say you want to go to google.com. All right, so what you want to do, say I want to find a photo of a trash can. I don't know why, I just want to. Okay, so because this entire series is based around creating content on a mobile device, a mobile platform, right? So assuming that you have the Google Chrome app, you would tap the 3 dots in the corner, go to request desktop site. So now it's giving me the desktop version. Go to images, go to settings, go to advanced search. Okay, you're going to scroll on down to usage rights. All right, so you're going to scroll over to usage rights, and at the bottom, it's going to be at the bottom of the screen. You're going to tap the one that says free to use or share even commercially. If you want, you can do the most bottom one, which says free to use or share or modify even commercially. I just do this one, the one that says use or share even commercially. You hit advanced search, and it'll let you find the images you want to, and there's some other cool features in there as well I don't really care about, but it lets you tinker around with what words you want or don't want, or that can be in there, image size, color, all that good stuff. So it's a very wonderful tool if you're trying to narrow down your search results to what you want. But the idea is that when you find your image, right, you head over back to the Adobe Spark Post app, okay? So if I'm creating a new post, okay, there's this plus button right here at the bottom of the screen, okay? I'm holding it right now. You're going to open that up, all right? So tap that plus button, okay? So now you're going to make your thumbnail. So let's say I want to go from free photos. Okay, free photos. Let's do this thingy right here. Okay, I want to do this man standing. I don't know why. All right, we're going to select that. So if you want to go through free photos, you would do that. If you want to add it from your photo library, you would, when you're at the screen at that certain point in the creating a thumbnail, when you're at that point, you're going to go to photo library and select it from your photo library. I'm using a free image, so I'm not at that step. So you can change the dimension to whatever, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. This is what I love about Adobe, the Adobe Spark Post app. This is why I've fallen in love with it, quite frankly. you can either use a pre-selected ratio for different applications, like a social media post, social media banner, social media profile pictures, or even set the dimensions to a custom width and height. So, but thankfully we have the YouTube thumbnail dimension already preset into the app. So that's a really, really, really nice feature. It really is. Sometimes I even use this app to make a Twitter post because it just fits perfectly. Now, anyways, you just go there, you select the dimension, hit done, and there you go. You can go ahead and remove this. We don't need it. Okay, so double tap to add text. We'll just type in something, I guess. I don't know what you want to type in. Just type in something, and you can do all these neat things. Edit the font to whatever you want. Change the color. It has suggested colors by like analyzing the color, like the colors on the screen. It's a really nice feature, so there's no tinkering there. It just gives you suggested colors. Lets you mess around with the shape, all those neat features that it has. It's a really wonderful tool. I really like these options that they give you. It's a really wonderful app. So how you do it, it's up to you. Okay, I'm just showing you how I got here. Now, what you do, that part's up to you. So you can add text, modify it. Also, you can add images. So add logos, whatever. What I do is I add photo. So go to add photo, go to the photo library, and I have all these different apps or whatever it is. All these different photos saved to my photo library under different albums. So MA, this one right here, is all MGTOW Academy stuff. So say this is a thumbnail for the MGTOW Academy show live. All right. I go in and I add it there. There's my image. I edit it. Remember how I said earlier that you should get that app that lets you erase the background? This is why you should have that. So that way the background is completely erased and it blends in with the photo perfectly. So that's an example of how I make photos. This is where this is what it kind of looks like when I make photos and thumbnails and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's really all I got. That's really all I got to say. Other apps you can use to modify your stuff will be the Adobe Photoshop Mix and all that type of stuff. The Adobe Photoshop Fix app. Those apps I'll show you guys later. I'll show you guys those apps later. But you can like save this image, take it to the Adobe Photoshop Fix and Photoshop Mix app, and do some small touch-ups there if you wanted to. There's lots of different things you can do, lots of different things you can try out. But yeah, it's a really wonderful app. I highly recommend that everyone uses the Adobe Spark Post app to make their thumbnails. I've been using it for a long time. It's been working out perfectly. And if you want to be creating thumbnails and images and all that type of stuff on the go, and you want to make it look professional, this is the app you want to go with. I don't have to pay anything. It's a really wonderful app. By the way, to the folks at Adobe who produced this app, thank you. It's a lifesaver. I highly recommend it to anyone who considers making content on the go. So to wrap up my advice on creating thumbnails, have a pre-selected photo that you have the rights to use, or if needed, permission from the photographer directly, that is recorded, as in you have it saved and that's kept safe in the event that someone or some big boy company, I'm looking at Universal Music Group, you assholes, in the event that someone or some big boy corporation flags your video for copyright purposes. I once had 3 videos flagged at once for using stock footage. Stock footage, like videos that is stock, as in people can use it, stock footage. I had the rights to use because you know what? It was stock footage. Now, thankfully, I had I had remembered the website from which I got the footage from, and I was able to get the claims revoked. Moral of the story is to use photos or footage, video that you have the rights to. Be creative with your design. Try new things out. All right, the worst thing that can happen is that the design doesn't work out. That's really the worst thing that can happen. Have a pre-selected photo album or whatever for commonly used graphics like logos, for example, like I showed you with the MGTOW Academy Show Live logo. So that way you can instantly access them whenever needed instead of having to search through all of your photos. Now I'll be going over how to modify images. And what I mean by that is using more advanced stuff, like erasing someone's name in a more professional looking manner, not just scribbling over it like it's Microsoft Paint or whatever, but actually erasing it. Or maybe you want to modify a thumbnail background image with a new filter, or you want a portrait blur. And I'll be covering that stuff now. And we're going to start that off with erasing critical information. Here's an example and a little bit of a tutorial, if you will. Hello, everyone, from my inbox. That's right. You are seeing what the MGTOWacademy.media@gmail.com inbox looks like. So, I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how you can erase information you don't want to show to the audience. It's a really simple step. Yes, it's a bit more work than say scribbling over it, whatever it is, the text or whatever, with like a black drawing tool or whatever, but it looks a whole lot more professional. In fact, you can't even tell if it's there when you're finished. So let's say that, Blue Microphones, I really love their products. They're really fantastic quality stuff. So say this is an email from like a person that I'm in contact with, and they send me, say, something from MGTOW Stories, but it's like a personal email and they don't want me to share that stuff. Say, hey dude, it's alright, I can erase the information when I show it in the video. That's just an example, not a real life thing, but just an example. So let's screenshot this. This will be a little demo thing. So I screenshotted that. Now we're going to go ahead and open up the Adobe Photoshop Fix. The one on the left is Adobe Photoshop Fix. The one on the right is Adobe Photoshop Mix. Go to Fix because you're fixing the photo. I've used it before. In fact, for the thumbnail for this video, I use it to adjust, just the basic background photo itself. I made some changes to the original. It's a great app. Even for the script, what's it called? It was the first video covering script writing. Even for that, okay, so I wanted to find a stock footage. Stock photo of a blank iPad. I couldn't find one, so what I did was I found this image, and really, all I did was just pasted the white. I just pasted the white part of the screen over everything. So it looked like it was a blank screen, but it really wasn't. So it's a really wonderful tool. It really is, you know. So I'm gonna show you guys how you would basically use it. So you go to camera roll, you take that image you want. So there's our image in the top left corner. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. So if you want to erase something, you got to go to healing. It's right here. Go to healing. Go to clone stamp. Don't go to spot heal. It doesn't always work. Go to clone stamp. That's what I do, and it always works when you do it right. So all you got to do is, there's just some basics to it. You have the source, which is that circle. See the circle? Right now I'm going to put on the lady's face. So basically how it works is it takes that source, which is the circle, and it pastes it everywhere. So say I want to paste this nose, and I see how this works. I'm pasting that lady's nose. I'm pasting the area around it all over the place. Okay, so that's just a demo. So let's go to clone stamp. Say I want to erase the from. Let's say instead of Blue Microphones, it's coming from someone with a personal email address. So I go to clone stamp, tap the source. You can't see it, but I'm tapping in the white area, and now I got to paste it, right? So you can turn on the red thing. It shows you where you're erasing, so it's more precise. So if I want to erase that, I can. There, it's more precise now, so we can erase that too. There. And say I want to erase the unsubscribe thing from over here. That's all right. There's the source. Tap the source because it's a different shade, a different color. And now I'm erasing that. And there, we're done. Say I want to erase the edit part. Okay, tap the source and erase, or really just pasting over it. And there, you're done. So now our finished product looks like that. So it's a really simple way to erase stuff, and it looks a lot more professional than just scribbling over it. So it's a little bit more work, yes, but it looks a whole lot more professional. So if you want to just if you want to do like little tiny details here and there to make your content look more professional, that's just one way to do it. And the app's free. There's no charge. It's a wonderful product to use. It saves directly to my camera roll, so I can just save it there, and it's good to go. So it's a wonderful tool for anyone who wants to make their content look a little bit more professional. And now I'll be showing you guys how you can use the Adobe Photoshop Mix app if you need to. The app is primarily used for adding in multiple images into one photo. You kind of mix them together, hence the name Photoshop Mix, but you can also add text and background colors too if you need to, because you could adjust the layering. Like maybe if you want to add in a blank red background, you can like adjust the layering so it's at the bottom. I'll show you guys how you can do that. So let me quickly show you guys how I've used the app in the past for some of the projects that I've worked on. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys how I have used the Adobe Photoshop Mix app to make some images that I've used in the past. If anyone here has been sticking with me for a couple of months now, by the way, thank you for sticking with me for the past couple of months. If you have, I appreciate the support. You may be familiar with this image. I've used this image, I'd say about maybe 2-3 months ago, maybe even a little bit farther back then. That's when I used this image as the background for my outro, which was it just had this image and it had like some music playing in the background. That was my outro back then. And this is the image I used. Really simple. This image, the background image that I'm moving around right now, that image, it was from a stock website, a stock photo website. I took that image. Every Apple device has a default editing feature built into the photo library. I used that to turn it into like a black and white image. I opened it up in the Adobe Photoshop Mix app, and then I also added in the MGTOW Academy logo. And there's this really neat feature that lets you cut out. This is one of my most favorite features in this app. It lets you just drag your finger over some stuff. It lets you cut out some images. However, it does miss some details. It does mess some stuff up, like over here. It messed up that part. Oops. It messes some stuff up, but it's pretty accurate. I like it. So I use that to kind of get that cut out right there. And then also you can change the blending mode. You have all these different modes or whatever. You got normal, darken, multiply, lighten, screen, overlay, soft light, difference, luminosity, and color. I like colors, so I went with that one. And if you need to, you can also add in like a color layer. I don't know why you would use it. I never used it. This is only here for demonstration purposes. Okay, I've never use that. Oh, you can also merge it too. But yeah, you can just like readjust the layers or whatever for whatever purposes you would use it for. I never used it, never have. I doubt I ever will. But if anyone out there needs to use it, that feature is out there for you to use. So you know, lets you do that type of stuff. I've used it for making some memes too as well. Like it lets you add in some text boxes in there. You know, and I would just like make some memes, post it on Twitter. So yeah, it's a pretty useful tool when you need to like blend in multiple images together. I don't use it that much, but obviously I still will use it in the future at some point. That's why I haven't deleted it. So yeah, it's a very great tool for anyone who needs to like blend photos together, multiple photos together. Hence, that's where the word mix comes in the title, Adobe Photoshop Mix. That's where the word comes from, because you're taking all this different stuff. You're taking photos, taking text, all these different stuff, and you're forming one image with all the stuff that you've added in. So it's an excellent product, another excellent product produced by Adobe. I don't use it that much, to be honest, but I still might need it in the future. That's why I haven't deleted it yet. So it's a wonderful tool for anyone who needs to blend some images and some text together. So before I wrap up today's video, which I hope you are enjoying by the way, you might be wondering how I was able to make the outro that I currently use. To clarify, everything except for the intro, which was made on a trial version of this movie editing software I got on my laptop a long time ago. Everything except for the intro was made on a mobile device. So you might be wondering how I made the outro, and I'm going to show you guys how I did that right after I show those of you who are not familiar with my outro what my outro looks like. Because remember, not everyone here has been a long-time viewer of MGTOW Academy. So for those of you who are new to my channel, thanks for stopping by the way. Here is what my current outro looks like. Here's a sped-up version of it. Alright, well, I hope you guys liked my outro. If not, well, that's too bad. Now I'm going to show you guys really quickly what application I used to produce that and how I basically did it. It won't be a tutorial because it's pretty straightforward. There really isn't any explanations to do. I'll just show you guys how I basically did it, and that'll be the end of the video. But be sure to stick around because I have a few more words to say before I end today's video. Enjoy. Alrighty, so for making the current outro that I use, I just use the Videoleap app. I don't use it on a day-to-day basis. I use iMovie for everyday editing and whatever. Videoleap is only for one-time things like outros and all that type of good stuff. I got the footage by going to an online stock video website, and I wasn't able to download it, so I just screen recorded it. And I screen recorded it, I cropped out, I edited out the part from the beginning and the end, so it looks just like the normal video. I added in the text, I added in the MGTOW Academy logo, which you can see in the left-hand corner, and that's it. I don't use it for actually editing, I just use it to make one-time things like outros, and just saved it, saved it to my iPod, and now I just use it for my outro. So that's how I made the outro that I currently have. Don't need to go into these specifics. It's pretty straightforward and simple. You add the text. You go here, add images. I'm sure there's a place to add it in somewhere. I mean, it's a pretty easy process to do so. It's not that hard. The app is free, and I highly recommend it for making intros and outros. And that concludes today's video on how I create images, thumbnails, and other forms of media that I might need. I hope you guys learned some useful stuff, and I hope that you can also take this and apply it when you start making content on your own. Don't leave so soon, though, because I'm not finished just yet. Alright, I got a couple more things to say. You can follow me on Twitter to see what I'm up to. My Twitter handle is @allcaps MGTOW, followed by Academy. The first day in Academy is capitalized. If you want to email me, shoot an email to MGTOWacademy.media@gmail.com. Ask any questions you might have by shooting me a DM on Twitter, emailing me, or asking in the comments below, whichever you prefer. The next video is on step 4, which is recording what you've written out and created. I'll go over what I use and what I recommend and different ways to garnish these amount of counter when recording into the iMovie app. And until next time, remember to enjoy life, choose your own path, and stay safe out there. This is MGTOW Academy signing off.